The missing link.
Well, I have a statement and then be glad to take a few questions and then refer them to our experts here. But virtually every American is familiar with the tragic environmental disaster in Alaskan waters. And more than 10 million gallons of oil have been spilled with deadly results for wildlife and hardship for local citizens. We all share the sorrow and concern of Alaskans and a determination to mount a sustained cleanup effort. Our ultimate goal must be the complete restoration of the ecology and the economy of Prince William Sound, including all of its fish, marine mammals, birds, and other wildlife. The Exxon Corporation has acknowledged responsibility for this spill and its liability for the damages. Exxon should remain responsible for both damages and for employing civilian personnel necessary to control further damage. However, Exxon's efforts, standing alone, are not enough. And after consulting with the congressional delegation, Senator Ted Stevens, Senator Frank Murkowski, Congressman Don Young, I have determined to add additional federal resources to the cleanup effort, in addition to the considerable federal personnel and equipment already on the scene. And this new effort will focus on the job of helping recover oil now in the water and restoring beaches and other damaged areas. This effort should not in any way relieve Exxon from any of its responsibilities or its liabilities. I've asked Sam Skinner, our Secretary of Transportation, to serve as the coordinator of the efforts of all federal agencies involved in the cleanup and to work with the Alaskan authorities and Exxon. Admiral Paul Yost, the Commandant of the Coast Guard, will return to Alaska to assume the personal oversight of developments. As we all know, the Coast Guard has many assets in place right now. Also at my direction, Defense Secretary Dick Cheney will make available U.S. Armed Forces personnel and equipment to assist in the cleanup. The military will provide personnel for direct cleanup activities, as well as assisting with logistics, the needs of logistics related to the cleanup. And of course, these efforts must be undertaken carefully so that further damage to fragile areas will not occur. Intensive planning now going on, as well as appropriate cleanup training, will be completed before ground units are actually deployed. In addition to the Department of Defense personnel, I've asked my staff to develop plans to enable volunteers to participate in cleanup activities. By summer, we hope to have developed facilities to enable us to accommodate a corps of Alaskan volunteers. And when I say develop facilities, as these gentlemen will tell you, we're dealing with very remote areas in some cases here. I've asked EPA Administrator Bill Riley to coordinate the long-range planning to restore the environment of the Sound. EPA will draw on the expert of leading scientists and oil spill experts in this work, and it will also consult with other federal agencies that are assessing scientific data regarding the effects of the spill. We will not forget the residents of Alaska who have suffered extraordinary economic loss. And when you talk to these congressmen, as I have, and get it brought home on case-by-case basis, we have to be concerned, and we are concerned. In addition to paying damage claims against it, we encourage Exxon to increase its local hiring for the cleanup efforts. Secretary Skinner will also work with Exxon and appropriate agencies to develop appropriate loan assistance programs to assist those who have suffered economic injury. This situation has demonstrated the inadequacy of existing contingency plans, and consequently, I have directed a nationwide review of contingency plans of this type to determine improvements that may be necessary. In describing these measures, we should not be under any illusions. The job of cleaning up the oil from both the sea and the affected land areas will be massive, prolonged, and frustrating. Nothing we can do will totally resolve this problem in the short term. Rather, we must be prepared for a long, sustained effort. Learning from this experience, we also rededicate ourselves to transportation safety and to realistic planning for accidents that do occur. At the same time, our national security interest in the domestic energy supplies should not be forgotten. The excellent safety record that was recorded prior to this incident must be restored and maintained consistently into the future. Secretary Skinner and Administrator Riley will make brief statements, and they, Secretary Cheney and others, will be available to answer questions. Prior to that, let me just take a couple of questions, and then I want to keep the focus, if possible, on this, so fire away. Yeah. Oh, my protocol. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Terry, I'll be...
If I could try another subject, how do you reconcile your efforts to arrange third country military aid for the Contras with the spirit of the ban by Congress on aid to the rebels?
Look, I'm not going to comment on any aspect of the North trial while it's in progress. If I even commented on your question, it could prejudice the trial. That would be totally unfair. And I would note that of all the material that you seem to be referring to and has been introduced, all the material that was introduced yesterday, material you're referring to, has been available to the Independent Counsel and the Iran-Contra Committee and has been reviewed by them for any special significance. So I believe the legal process ought to run unfettered without you or me endangering the trial process that's going on right now. And that's the last question I'll take on that subject. Yes, right here, and then DeFrank.
Do you have any reply to Mr. Gorbachev's contention that the foreign policy is taking?
Listen, this is an environmental briefing here, and we're concerned about the Alaska oil spill. But the answer is no. Let me simply say, we're the United States of America. We're making a prudent review, and I will be ready to discuss that with the Soviets when we are ready. And so, and Mr. Gorbachev knows that there's no foot dragging going on, so I'm not concerned in the least. Now we go.